Alright guys, here's question number 4. In order to do question number 4, you have to have the solution to question number 2, so we're going to do both in line. Question number 2, it asks you about the energy of a photon for UVA radiation, and that's the wavelength is given as 360 nanometers. And then later on, question number 4 asks you about the difference between UVA and UVB, and it gives you the frequency of UVB at 1.0 times 10 to the 15th hertz. So we need to obviously calculate the energy between the two photons because it wants to ask us, it wants us to know the difference in energy. So we have to know the energy for each one in order to calculate the difference. So starting with the energy for UVA, we already were given the wavelength, so we'll go ahead and use the wavelength equation. Remember, they're both the same equations. So I'll take Planck's constant, multiply it by the speed of light, and then divide it by the wavelength. Don't forget to convert the wavelength from meters, or excuse me, from nanometers to meters. The units have to match. And once you do that, you get that the energy of UVA is 5.52 times 10 to the negative 19 joules per photon. So then we take a look at UVB. We're given the frequency, so let's just use that version of the energy equation. So that starts with Planck's constant, and I'll multiply it by the frequency, which was 1.0 times 10 to the 15th hertz. Remember that a hertz is a 1/2, so the units will cancel out just fine. So when I put this into my calculator, I get that the energy of UVB is 6.63 times 10 to the negative 19th joules. And now the question asks me about the difference in energy. So it wants to know the delta energy. Well, delta energy is just the difference between the two. The energy of B minus the energy of A. Notice energy of B is bigger. And that's what we expect because the problem even said that UVB has a little bit more energy than UVA. And so what we do is we take a look at that and we subtract the two. So 6.63 times 10 to the negative 19th joules minus 5.52 times 10 to the negative 19th joules. And what do we get there? We're going to get that the difference in energy between UVA and UVB equals 1.12 times 10 to the negative 19th joules. And that's all.